Pinagbibitiw ni Senador Raffy Tulfo ang mga opisyal ng Bureau of Customs dahil sa pagkabigong makakuha ng impormasyon tungkol sa mga agricultural smugglers sa bansa. Kung sasabihin nyo, hindi po namin alam yan. Ngayon lang namin narinig, then you should resign, especially kayo dyan sa intelligence ng customs, pahayag ni Tulfo sa pagdinig ng Senate Committee on Agriculture kaugnay ng napakataas na presyo ng sibuyas sa bansa. Giit naman ni BOC Assistant Commissioner Vincent Philip Maronila, hihilingin niya sa Customs Intelligence Investigation Service, CCIS, na magpadala ng ulat sa tanggapan ni Tulfo patungkol sa agricultural smuggling sa bansa. Subalit sabi ni Tulfo, aksyon ang kailangan niya at hindi ang report ng BOC. Samantala, inirekomenda naman ni Senador Robin Padilla na ipasepina ang mga di-umano'y smugglers na pinangalan sa isang artikulo na nabanggit ni Senador Sen.Villar, Chair ng Senate Committee on Agriculture, Food and Agrarian Reform, sa pagdinig. Sabi naman ni Villar, pag-aaralan niya ang suhestyon ni Padilla dahil ilan umano dito ay naimbestigahan na sa mga nagdaang kongreso. Ayon pa kay Villar, pagod na umano siyang mag-imbestiga tungkol sa di umano'y smuggling ng mga agricultural product dahil paulit-ulit lang aniya ang nasabing problema. Kaya ako medyo tinatamad na ako mag-investigate. Imagine, ang tagal-tagal na niyan. It's common knowledge. Magbabait sila pag nag-investigate ka tapos uulit-uli, ani Villar. Bakit hindi nyo pa ikulong para tapos na ang problema natin kasi kung wala kayong ikinukulong walang madadala, walang matatakot. Mag-sample naman kayo, saad pa ng senadora. Dahil dito inula ng komento sa social media ayon kay Betty Florida, correct, napakaraming big-time smugglers na nakakalusot. Filipinos were so lucky na may senator like you, Senator Raffy Tulfo, makatao. Di naman sila smugglers para lang may magamit sa bahay na di bibili ng napakmahal na sibuyas. Dagdag din ni Josie Lee. Tama, kakapal ng mukha ng mga custom ngayon naghihingi, grabe anong nagyari sa pamahalaan ng Pilipinas. Ayon di kay Arnel B. Cadilla, pamalit nila para may maipakita sa publiko na naghihigpit sila sa mga big-time smugglers na kapit mga mata ng Bureau of Customs sa pera na lang lagi nakatuon. Ang serbisyo nila kahit nakakahiya banat perentum abalang ang bulsa. Ayon din kay Elizabeth Gash. Tama yan idol, karapat ng mukha ng mga customs padala yung pinadaha pa samantalang sila dapat ang mahiya sa ginawa ng mga crew dahil sa sobrang mahal ng sibuyas imbes na chocolate pa sa lubong sibuyas dahil mas mahal pa sibuyas sa damit at chocolate makakapal ng mukha. Ayon din kay Vino M. Laupo. Hindi hinuhuli ang mga big-time smugglers kasi punong-puno ng salapi ang mga bunganga ng Bureau of Customs, di na sila makahinga sa daming salapi na binubusal sa kanila.
Nakakuha ng karagdagang tulong ang Pilipinas dahil ang gobyerno ng France ay naglaan ng 150 million euros, katumbasuyan ng humigit kumulang sa 8.87 billion pesos. Yan ay karagdagang financing para sa pamamagitan ng kanilang pautang na susuporta doon sa Climate Change Action Program ng ating pamahalaan. Ibinigay sa pamamagitan ng French Development Agency ang karagdagang pondo para sa mga programa ng One Climate Change Action Program na nilalayon upang tulungan ng Pilipinas na palakihin pa ang mga pagsisikap nito at mapalawak pa ang mga paghahanda upang mabawasan at umangkop sa mga pagbabago ng klima. Dagdag pa dito, ang programang ito ay inilalaan upang suportahan din ang mga pampublikong programa at naglalayo na mag-set up ng mga sistema na makakatulong sa pagpaplano at pagpupondo upang palakasin ang pagkilos sa hinaharap nating climate change. Ito'y tulong din upang palakasin ang katatagan ng populasyon sa lumalaking epekto ng pagbabago ng klima at upang mabawasan ang greenhouse gas emission sa pamamagitan ng pag-deploy ng mga renewable energies at pagpapabuti ng kahusayan sa enerhiya at pag-deploy ng mapapanatili yung transportasyon, yung sustainable na sistema. Liban dito ay sinabi ni Finance Secretary Benjamin Jokno na isang joint statement ang kanilang inilabas at sa bahagi nito ay nakatuon daw ang pagpupursigi ng mga konkretong aksyon sa climate change at para maprotektahan ang ating mga mamamayan dito sa ating bansa.
I thank everyone who's here today. My first thanks come to all you guys who have always been so supportive and are a very important symbol of the trust and confidence in what we have been doing to try to transition the economy from pre-pandemic to post-pandemic, post-Ukraine economy. And a central part of that has always been my continuing reminder to people that we, the government, cannot do this alone. And the partnerships that we will need, a strong partnership with the private sector. And your being here and in the past have been so supportive is a primary element and most important element for that to succeed. I'd like also to thank, of course, Mr. Chipman and Mr. Rahman for sharing your thoughts with us on really a rather intriguing question, which is perfect for the times. Will geopolitics finally kill off globalization? Well, it is something that really needs to be thought about because there are such contrary forces that we feel both in the geopolitical sphere, but also in the economic/trade sphere. Now, I think what happened, especially I'll use the Philippines as an example, is that what happened during the pandemic is that we were brought back with a hard thud to basics, and so we have decided that we have to strengthen our own local economy to be able to withstand shocks such as the pandemic, such as Ukraine, in the future. And there is an element, there is a tendency of protectionism in that, because we take care first of our own businesses. We take care first of our own industries. We take care first of our own economy. But again, there is the contrary force to that, is that a very clear understanding and assumption by everyone who thinks about these things that trade is the key to wealth for any country. No country grew wealthy without a very strong trade relationship, not only with one or two other countries, but with the rest of the world. In terms of geopolitics, your remarks, Mr. Chipman, in that we all desire, especially, let us say, around the South China Sea, we all desire a more multipolar. However, the forces of us going back to that Cold War type of scenario, where you have to choose one side or the other, are strong. And when I speak to the other ASEAN, APEC members, and the other leaders, and I ask them, and they ask me, do you feel it, that you must choose? And I say, yes, don't you? And unanimously, they say yes. So the multilateralism that ASEAN, what we call the ASEAN centrality, that has become a very important concept. I think we are determined as a group in ASEAN and in the Indo-Pacific, those around the Indo-Pacific, despite all of this conflict, we are determined to stay away from that. And simply because we are anchored in the idea that the future of the Indo-Pacific, the future of Asia-Pacific, for example, cannot be determined by anyone but the countries of the Asia-Pacific. And that removes us immediately from that idea that you must choose. We choose our friends. We choose our neighbors. That's the choice that we have made. And so, although because of these crises, the pandemic, the Ukraine situation, because of these crises, there have been tendencies, as I said, towards nationalism, towards closing borders, towards protectionism. But I think that technology has taken us too far. We cannot go back. And in both the global arena and in terms of politics, the geopolitics of it, and in terms of the economy, the global economy, it is now conceptually impossible to even think that we could have a non-global economy, that we will return to what we were 200 years ago, 100 years ago. That simply is not going to happen. And so although we have, I think, we've hit a very big bump on the road, several big bumps on the road. I think the tendency after a while, after things have settled, after countries such as the Philippines have put in place the elements of policy, the elements of legislation that are necessary to be able to adjust to what is the new coming economy. Once that is in place, I think that the globalization will start, we will start to return to that tendency of globalization. I really would love to discuss this further with you because it's a terribly interesting subject and it's critical to the future of our planning. So thank you very much again for those for sharing those thoughts with us. So thank you all very much for coming to this lunch. As I said, it's been a very productive one.